Hey, dude, do you think we're live?
I hope so,
Are we
mate.
on?
We've got all this gear here.
It's the first live show. I don't know whether we're on or not. Oh, well, dude, I think we're on. Let's get this show on the road. Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to Enforcer and the Dude live.
You've done it, Russ. You
We've
pulled
done
it
it
off.
by request.
Mate, you always give the fans what they want, don't you?
They said they wanted us back. We thought we'd give a live show a swing. Look, a bit risky because we haven't done it before, but you know, there's a method to our madness as well for later on down the road. Might turn into something. Anyway, we're giving it a go. Great to have you on board. We've got a fair bit to get through, even though there's not much racing going on. And sorry about the little...
Where'd you find? Where did you get that, mate? It looks like it's brand new out of the box, but from 1960 or something.
This is my overprotective mask that I've been walking around Surfers Paradise with. Everyone thinks I'm
doing the shopping.
or something. Yeah.
You've been cruising the Isle of Woolies with that on your head. Maybe it's improvement.
Yeah, it is actually an improvement. No, it's actually, to be quite honest, Julia, my lovely wife.
Hi, Jules.
Hi, Jules. She did a photographic tour with Canon last year to Russia, and she actually did a tour of a bunker in Russia, and it was supposed to be after World War II. They built this huge bunker. If there was a nuclear war, they'd go in and throw one of these on. So it's actually a genuine article as well. It's pretty cool. So it's funny though, the difference in cultures, isn't it? Because you come to Australia and do a tour of a museum or something like that, at the end of the day, you get a koala or a
boomerang.
Boomerang or something. Stuffed toy or something. In Russia, you get a gas mask. So, bit of difference. But anyway, so we're on.
Let's get into it.
We're going to talk a little bit of motor racing. Before we get into it, though, on a very, very serious note, you notice that we're donning some ribbons.
Yeah,
and
tragic,
very important, absolutely devastating thing that happened this week in Victoria, losing the life of 4 of our very best police officers. Tragic circumstances for sure, and our condolences, of course, and I can speak with all the motorsport community as well, goes out to those family and friends of those officers that lost their lives in the duty, protecting us. And I think this really reinforces that how dangerous their jobs are. So we're putting on the blue ribbons, of course, and I think everyone in Australia should acknowledge the loss of life of these officers.
Tragic and
absolutely
trying circumstances for everyone. So.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so we'll try and lighten it up a little bit, and
bit to get through.
And that's what it's about. Tonight's about having a little bit of fun, not taking things too seriously, but also trying to inform people for what racing there has gone on, and motorsport in general, and where it's heading as well, more importantly. So let's rock into it. Firstly, let's start from the top, because obviously we haven't done any shows. This year's the first show, so we haven't had a chance to talk about
last week.
It was our anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh,
1 year anniversary.
1 year for the first show. Well, there you go. This
is
pretty timely that we've come back on air. Now let's talk about a very hot topic towards the end of last year, was the changes with supercars for the 2020 season.
Yep.
Right.
Let's get into that.
And there was a reasonable amount. A lot of testing went on during after the last round last year. The 3 main changes: aero, a controlled shocker or damper, and also some engine mods as well, mainly to reduce rebuilds and extend the life.
A bit more life.
Yeah, so obviously, and trying to shave some budget off the running budget. So firstly, dude, aero changes. We spoke about it last year in depth in quite a few of the episodes, how we felt that, in our personal opinions, that a lot of aero should be cut off the cars, because things have snuck up a little bit over the years.
We covered it. The teams have been fudging the tests, and over the last 15 years, aero's crept onto the cars.
Including your mate.
Yeah, Roland was into it. He's probably the one that started it. So.
Yeah. And by reports, it's crept up over the years.
It's only a reward if you're not in on it.
Exactly. So over the years, it's crept up as much as 30%. So we would have thought, at the very least, 30% should have been cut straight off the bat. They went a little bit shy on that, which was disappointing. About 12 to 13%.
Yeah, I think they just run out of time to cut more off it. So when you looked at and it's a long time ago now, but they did the first numbers on the first aero test and they didn't match up. Something was astray, then they had to go and retest again. And by the time they got out of that second test, it was so close to the start of the year, they just had to stick with what they got. So, and not enough, and it showed in the racing at Adelaide.
It was a shame, really, because they had a reasonable opportunity to take an axe to it and cut some of this off. And even I found an article actually that Mark Dutton from Triple Eight was interviewed, and he even said himself, that they wanted at least 30 to 50% off. Which got on Dutto for coming out and actually saying that, and
well, they need it for job security, mate. There's no racing and no one's passing. Dutto's out of a job.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But it's good he's, and we haven't got it, but hey, who knows what's going to happen when we come out the other side of this?
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, they've got to think about it. It's like I said, there's obviously reasons why they didn't get to do it. It was a bit of a missed opportunity. They probably thought having to, for people to make new wings, make new splitters, added expense.
They've done that trim using the components that they've got. So the teams haven't had to remanufacture. They've just laid the rear wing off and shortened the under tray. So pretty simple fix.
But it's something they've got to think about later down the road.
There's a lot to think about, mate. Not just that. So
controlled damper, that's something that should have been done years and years ago, the controlled damper, massively. Great that it actually went to an Australian company with Supershock.
To get Supershock, and they've got a world-class product and a big business down there that sells and does work, technology type work all around the world. And the other good thing I like about that deal, that Sean Seamer commercialised it, so Petta's got on board, and that they branded the shock a Petta shock. It's made in South Australia, and that allows more money to flow to the team. So that was a good commercial move and a good sporting technical move.
And especially in today's environment as well, where we've got to start thinking about ramping up manufacturing in all sorts of industry, in the motor industry as well as motorsport.
Doesn't it make sense now when you see how good is it with what we've come through to have an Australian manufactured product in the car?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. There's a
story.
couple of people whinging about it after Adelaide because there was a couple of failures. But look, Adelaide is the toughest track out of anything on everything mechanical.
There's always going to be failures at Adelaide.
There always has been.
And it's all driver induced.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, if you belt the curves, you're going to break something.
Yeah, always has been. Gold Coast is another.
It's risk versus reward.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to cut the curbs and hit them hard, well, you're going to get failures. But good on them for going with, because they did have to tender it out. The Supershock actually got it.
Supershock. We need to do a tour of their factory one day.
It's Oscar Ferranotto.
Yeah,
he used to be my engineer at Perkins.
Yeah, and he used to work on my Formula Holden.
Yeah. He's out of control.
Yeah,
he was back then. He's calmed down a little bit, old Oscar, but he's out of control.
I've actually toured his factory. Then what he's done there is world class and brilliant. So
absolutely, So I know Oscar very well. He's engineered my car a few times, and I mentioned Larry. Then we see Larry's logged in. LP?
Yeah, LP. We saw he logged in on the old book page there.
Yeah. Good on you, LP. Good to have you on board. We did a great interview with him last year, and really good bloke, but excellent, of course. And engine regs. Take us through that, Paul, because
pretty simple. And
you've sussed it out today.
Yeah, and this is just about saving the team's one engine rebuild, which is approximately $40,000. So they get through on 3 engine rebuilds. Most of the teams are doing that anyway, except for the guys that like maybe Triple Eight, Penske, maybe Walkinshaw were doing engine builds more often. But all they've done, they've gone from a 0.7 mil to a 0.9 mil ring.
Yep.
Saves them $1,500, $2,000 for a ring package down to $500 for a ring package, and 50,000 less lift on the rocker, and the thing should do 4,000, 5,000 Ks. There was one engine last year where I had a bit of a, I hope that's live. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Well, I had to ring around all the engines.
Yeah.
And one of the engines was actually Techno's engines, did 6,200 k. So a KRE engine on the old spec went out that far. Obviously, they were trying to stretch the Ks money-wise, which is good. But it's good to know they can do those sort of miles. So,
I mean, we were quite vocal last year about about the engine side of it, how much it costs them. It's a ridiculous amount of money they spend on engines, and we kept saying about the controlled engines. But I suppose, as it sits at the moment, considering every team has got engines, this was probably the best scenario. It was probably the only one.
Yeah, it's a move in the right direction.
Yeah, unless you just bowl it all together and eventually go to a spec engine, a crate engine.
But everyone's got these, and it's getting more and more sensible. And
it's got to reduce some costs, even if it's only 50 grand.
Yeah.
50 grand at the moment, it's going to make a big difference in today's environment.
Well,
it probably didn't last year, it does now.
Well, it's it could be the difference of turning up the track or not. So
yeah. We touched briefly on Gen 3. Gen 3 rules, I mean, there's been a lot of dialogue going backwards and forwards about it, what it could be, what it won't be, what it will be.
Well, I reckon
do they actually know? Do they actually know what they're going to produce? Have they got any sort of idea? Or is it just totally up in the air now?
There's lots of ideas there. And for what I can get of it and understanding what Gen 3 looked like 6 weeks ago, it'd be nothing what they're looking like now. They've got
what makes you say that?
The money's not going to be around to run.
Is this yours, or you know something that?
Well, I've got a mate. I've got people in the industry.
Yeah. So and what are they saying?
Well, that you've got to plan and have a car to suit your budget. So, are you going to have $2.5-3 million in this environment to run a car? No, I reckon you've got to design and run a car for around $1.2 million running budget, plus your driver probably. But you've got to be aiming for around the $1 million mark, and you need a real simple, low budget, strong car.
So unlike the changes we're talking about, like things like aero, they're going to have a big swing at this?
They've got it. Well, how are they going to go racing?
Well, can't.
You can't.
Not in today's budgets.
No.
Not at all. Not what it used to be.
No. So that's
and we'll touch on that later.
That's going to have to change, and so will.
So that's in the pipe work. There's teams talking about it. There's teams designing.
There's teams talking about what things are going to look like post what we're doing, and that's going to change that whole vision of what that Gen 3 car will look like.
I really hope they do that, because
but that'll tie into race formats, personnel at the car, and we'll get onto that later in the show. What it could look like, but Gen 3, that'll be a big swing.
Yep. Okay.
You'll love it, mate, because you always want to have a big swing.
We've said it all along. It's got to get back to basics. It's got to get back, and there's no better time to do it now. They have to do it now, because of everything that's gone on to survive. At the end of the day.
Yeah, that's it. And they're not the only business with that problem. Everyone's looking at. You've been forced to stop, have a good look at what you're doing, and adapt and change. Otherwise, you're not going to be there.
Absolutely. Adelaide, you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
I watched a bit of it on TV. I watched a bit of it on TV. Was this the only full race that's happened? Obviously, the Grand Prix only got as far as qualifying, but what was your take on, from a punter's point of view? I was sitting there watching it on TV, and
the stadium trucks were good.
The stadium trucks are okay. Yeah. I was probably there was a little bit of action here and there, but for the changes they made to the aero. Well, it didn't surprise me because they didn't have a big swing at it, but the racing was okay, but it seemed a little bit
it's still hard to pass,
and
I spoke to Shane about it, Shane Van Gisbergen, and he was pretty vocal about how the gurney on the rear of the car is causing the aero wash. So they put a gurney on the cars to try and even up the drag of the cars, and ever since they've been putting gurneys on the cars, and this goes back to the Nissan was the first one to have someone. It was always hard to follow the Nissan.
Yep.
And now every car's a bit like the Nissan. It's draggy, creates wash, and they can't follow. So only one race in the bag to really get a clear, look at that. But I think that's the problem.
Well, James Courtney had an off there. He hit the fence in turn 8. He said afterwards it was aero wash. That went in there, just turned in. There was didn't have anything at all, and I know. Look, we probably it actually looked worse through turn 8 than it had been. I didn't see anyone get a good run through anyone going through turn 8 where they used to. So like what you're saying sounds like it was correct. It actually looks worse as far as the aero wash.
Yeah, the feedback from the drivers is it's created aero wash. So
Anything else happened in Adelaide that stood out? It still looked like a reasonable amount of people there. Looked a little bit
crowd
down.
was a bit down, I think. Yeah, but and it was hot.
Yeah.
So,
One of the, we've actually
so it was
we've got a few questions coming in
Yeah.
already, so we're actually taking a few here and obviously answer as many as we can. So we'll do that throughout the throughout the show.
What have we got there, mate?
Right, what's your thoughts on Holden leaving? Where to for now? Of course, that was a major news story this year in motoring and motorsport world. Mate, that was a decent sized hit. Not unexpected though.
Well, I think we all knew it was coming. It was the timing of it took everyone by surprise.
Yep.
So what do you do?
Well, you can't do anything. I mean, they've been,
Can't do anything.
been hemorrhaging for a
and
while.
what we're going through now pales into insignificance. It's not that big a deal. You just
Yep. I think
just a
everyone
reset.
thought there was another year or two left in it, which would have worked out well with the Gen 3 car.
Gen 3 and what
but
you
pushing all
phase
that
into
forward.
and-
Exactly right. You know, but
and then Ryan's come out and said he's not going to make the Camaro.
Yeah, I was just
remanufacture the
read-
Camaro.
yeah,
so
just read
that
it.
ties into that as well.
that article only came out this week.
Yeah.
HSV culls the Chevrolet Camaro, which is, I mean, that was an exciting proposition when it first came in. You know, I had one for a while. Like, it was-
Good car. We did the test.
Yeah,
didn't we?
did the test on it.
Loved it.
Great car, damn fast around here at Norwell as a road car. Really good thing. But that was was it really ever in the equation for supercars? Really, because of the roof height and completely new type of chassis.
I don't know. It still might be, mate, but it's.
Well, I can't now because
Yeah, I think everything around that Holden brand is just not relevant anymore, hasn't it? It's just got. You know, you just when you grew up, you're either Ford or Holden.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you fill that void and how you get back to it. So.
yeah, it's still.
I do know how you get it. You get the championship back to revolving around the drivers and follow the drivers.
Well, funny enough, Speed Cafe did a survey on that, a fan vote,
Yeah.
and it still came out that they followed manufacturers.
Really?
Yeah, more so
Even
than.
though they don't buy the cars.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. Well, I think this was prior. Oh no, it was just after the Holden announcement. Yeah, it was just so. It goes to show you the
People are still
the strength
aligned
of
to a
it.
brand.
Oh, absolutely, and it shows the following. I think for supercars too. You know, there's a lot of guys there that have been following the sport for a lot of time. You know, for a long time, a lot of old stages, and they've still got that in their head. So it's still an important factor. But let's face it, the way the motoring industry is at the moment, and where it's heading. You know, I think you've got to make it. You're right. You've got to make it about the drivers, the teams, and putting on a damn
just
good
the
show.
drivers.
Just the drivers?
Yep.
Bugger the teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the drivers.
But you've got to have a good... to make it about the drivers, you've got to have a good competition
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So one comes with the other as well. So, and the competition will come by getting the next Gen 3
Well,
car
we've got to get
right.
all this right, so we should keep rocking on through.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, AGP only got through qualifying.
Yep.
So that was, but couldn't really get a gauge on. That was going to be an interesting circuit to see what the aero changes had done. But we didn't get a chance to really do that because only got through qualifying.
2 qualifying sessions, then all hell broke loose. So it was just an eerie feeling, wasn't it? Even though I wasn't down there.
For sure. Times were still fast. Times were still quick though, which surprised me. So the aero change actually didn't do much to lap times. Shows you how much they've made in other areas.
Yeah, it's gone probably faster down the straight a bit and lost a bit under braking and
yeah.
a little bit round the corner, but
Still quite, but
Pretty high speed track.
again, that's why they got to, whatever they do, they've got to have a big swing at the aero, take it all off.
well, no aero.
Mate, they look too stable. The cars look way too stable. They were saying they were moving around. The drivers were saying, "Oh, they're moving around a lot more." But visually, I think when you're a driver and you feel a car moving around,
Yeah.
a little twitch is, whoa, you know. But from the outside, you need more than that. You need like
Yeah, well,
the old touring car masters. You need the thing stepping out.
Larry's got the 97 Bathurst winner, hasn't he? He just rebuilt it.
He did.
What they should do is get that out and make all the modern guys have a drive of
95.
that.
Yeah, was it 95? I think it was a 95 there.
95 car?
Yeah.
Well, go and drive that. That's a car that moved around.
Oh yeah, you're not kidding. I drove the thing. I can tell you about that.
You were hanging
Don't
on.
worry about it, you were hanging on, especially with no power steering, because Larry, Jesus, you were the last man standing to go to power
You
steering.
just get a bigger steering wheel.
I think he did it to punish me too. I'm pretty sure he had power steering on his car. He never put it on mine. But anyway, he'd be there. That, so cop this, Rusty.
But that was moving around, wasn't it?
That was moving around.
Yeah.
Look, it was the only thing I didn't like about the Grand Prix was I know the circumstances and when all of a sudden the F1 team started dropping out and all the rest of it. I mean, I felt really sorry for the fans rolling up on Friday morning, rolling up to that front gate, and look, they pretty well knew they weren't going to run the event. Yeah, because there was
someone knew.
Allegedly there was drivers booking flights out.
There was 2 drivers that had
Thursday night.
Gone home the night.
Well, they were definitely around 6 o'clock next morning. So they knew, you know. Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't know what political reasons were for, but I felt really sorry for all those race fans who were stuck there, and geez, they weren't happy about it too. And again, this was when the start of all that.
It was just a standoff who was going to pull the pin first, and they were probably going to be the one left paying the bill. So.
Yeah. Wasn't a good look though.
Not for your fans, no.
No, because you burn a lot of people too, and once you burn them once, it's hard to get them back.
100%, Russ. It's all about the fans, mate. You always told me that.
It is. The COVID-19, this whole pandemic thing we're going in.
Yep.
Where do you think we're heading to with the? I mean,
as a sport?
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, a lot of talk about NRL and AFL and cricket and all the other major sports that's going on. As far as supercars, it's been very quiet because there's been so much media about, especially NRL at the moment, when they're coming back, when they're not coming back, financial troubles, all the rest of it. Geez, it's been quiet in supercar land. There's hardly been any noise. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's probably a good thing. They're not going off half cocked, and if you know the people that are involved there, they'll have a plan. They'll be working towards it. But if you go a bit early and make a mistake and got to back it up, you won't survive it. So. The way I look at that, NRL, AFL, they're trying to get going to survive. Obviously, supercars and the teams can survive. They're a different dynamic for a sport, so you can shut the team down and basically put it into job keeper mode, for want of a better word. Find people other things to do, as we've seen with teams doing medical stuff. It's different to having a football team where you've got, you know, all the players and all that to work with. Yep. So you can find other things for staff and that to do. So I think they've backed off, taken the pressure off themselves, and that they'll come out when it's ready, and they'll have a good plan. They've got good connections with government. They've got government supported events, so good connections with government. And this is not about coming out and going racing as soon as you can to make sure the sport survives, because our sport will survive.
Yeah.
We can adapt.
You reckon it will?
Yeah. And it'll survive on 2 levels. You've got club racing, which I think will be fine. We could go club racing again tomorrow.
Yep.
But as that professional side of the sport, you've got to make the right moves and make the correct moves and just don't do anything stupid.
But, okay, so the problem is you can't lean down anymore what they were doing with the cars, because you can't all of a sudden make the cars cheaper to run. So you can't have a cost saving there from what they've already done towards the end of last year with the new regs.
Yep.
So now does it go back to the teams and how the rest of the year is going to run out, that they have to make changes of, well, depending on the formats, maybe there won't be any longer races anymore because you have to cut your personnel down.
Personnel's the key, Russ. The first thing you're going to be forced to do is cut personnel anyway.
Yeah. Like any business.
If we get going early, there's got to be less people around. We all know that.
Yep.
We've seen that. Seen on the way in when the pandemic was 500 people, then it was down to 10. Now it's down to 2.
Yep.
So on the way out, I think there won't be such a broad brush number.
Yep.
There'll be logic built around each specific case. Supercars will be working on that, and they'll know the numbers they can have, but I reckon it's probably going to go from 12, 13 people a car back to about 4 or 5.
Oh, I mean, look,
and then the formats are going to change.
Bad. I mean, and you don't want to talk about those sort of things lightly too, because it's people's job. You know, the jobs at the end of the day, they've all got mortgages, you know, and some have got families and all the rest of it. You don't want to see people losing their jobs, but the fact of the matter is, you know, like every other business, the hard calls are going to have to be made to survive. You know,
I think
it can't just roll back into how it was. You know, going out of that.
Well, the money won't be there to pay the people anyway, Russ. So you've got to change it, and then the upside is, well, if you can get it back to a sustainable model.
Yeah.
we might get back to 30, 40 cars, and all those people will pick up jobs anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we should get into that later on because
Yeah.
we've got a very special guest that'll be coming on that will take us down. That's had involvement in motorsport back in the early days
Yeah,
and
but-
right till present day as well. So,
But and I think club level racing,
Yep.
like your local racing, whether it's motocross, go-karts, your Hyundai XLs, your local production cars at your local track, I think we'll see that'll come back online pretty quickly, because you don't need a lot. It's not spectator based, and you're not mingling in big crowds.
Yep.
And we've seen that with horse racing. They're allowed to horse race locally, so I don't see why you can't learn a bit off the
Right.
horse racing people and get us going as well.
okay, let's keep on. We're keeping
Yep.
the questions. There's hundreds of questions coming at
more
us at the
coming in?
moment. Yeah, we've got plenty more coming in. Brad Hayes, opinions on Team Sydney, Courtney, and late reveal was second driver. So
Yeah.
that was that was a reasonably big one, because there was lots of noise and talk about this Team Sydney. It was all going ahead and gun ho and everything was good. And geez, with him one round, the wheels seem to have fallen off a bit of it with the departure of Courtney and the boost money after one event. So obviously things weren't as rosy there as what was in the print.
No, well, obviously it wasn't. And we saw it at Adelaide. Webby basically didn't have a race team. He had some equipment, and then he called the Cedars racing team in, which are good bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Know their way around cars. Not a super amount of experience with supercars. Super 2, they were pretty experienced guys. So called those guys in to help out, and they were going to build within their Sydney base. So I think the plan was there to get the thing going, but obviously James either didn't get paid or he didn't like the way the team was getting run, and obviously didn't want to not get paid to run around the back of the field. I think it was that simple.
Yeah, there was. It was all very. I mean, there was a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes from both parties. So no one really answered the question. But obviously, at the end of the day,
there was a lot of work to be
done.
done, a lot of heavy
Yeah.
lifting on both sides. So
And it's not easy to relocate a team. To relocate, especially to Sydney, which I mean, cost-wise, coming from
Well,
the
they
Gold
didn't have much
Coast
to
to there.
relocate, mate. Pack the truck and drive to Sydney, because there was no real staff left or infrastructure
Yeah,
left there.
yeah.
It was just equipment. So
Still a big call though to do
Yeah.
it that late as well. So
yeah, but you got to
well,
look out.
hopefully they keep going, and hopefully
I think they're in pretty good shape because
this has probably given them a bit of breathing
it
space.
has. Out of all the teams that were going to ride out this pandemic,
Yep.
is those guys, because they've got no fixed overheads. They're
So they might actually come out all right.
They will come out of this all right.
Yeah, exactly right.
They will come. It'll get some breathing space. They're not locked into staff. Then they can sit back. Jonathan Webb will sit back and go, right, this will give me a bit of breathing space.
Absolutely.
They're still going ahead with the temporary new premises at Sydney Motorsport Park, so could be in good shape to pop out of it.
And it's, look, I see quite a few people giving them a kick around and like a bloody football, but look, at the end of the day, Webb's been in the sport for a long time. They've supported the
That
sport
team,
in both divisions, in Super 2 or whatever it was named back then, until now. They've been
The
around for a
team's
long
won
time.
Bathurst,
Yeah,
1000.
absolutely.
The team's won the Bathurst 12 hour.
Yeah,
Webby's won both as a driver.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, Bloody Near won Bathurst one year up until the last stint when Van Gisbergen had a starter motor problem.
Yeah.
They were going to win that thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Well, then he won it with Davo, so
he's
got the trophies.
Yeah, you got the trophies. Yeah. So I mean, you got to give them a bit of credit there. Give credit to the people that have stuck in and been in the sport for a long time. So
Yeah, you got to get it both sides. So
absolutely.
And I like both blokes. They're both good mates, and you've sometimes you just got to be Switzerland on these things, but they didn't see eye to eye. So I'd still like to have a beer with both blokes.
Hasn't been the only ones, and won't be the last.
No,
so don't worry about that.
We've had our differences. We're still mates.
We're still all right. We're still here doing a show, so so it mustn't be too bad. Hey, E-Series, we've got to get onto that because I got to tell you, and I'll be straight up. I thought, here we go. Well, why are you doing this? Why is Supercars messing around with a computer game? Getting their drivers involved in it. I thought this was a bad idea. I did. I'll be straight up. I thought it was half a silly idea.
Yeah.
But Jesus, prove me wrong.
You're wrong.
I was wrong. Like, I'll tell you what, it's gone all right. it's gone pretty well. In actual fact, when you look at the viewers,
Yeah, the numbers are great.
the numbers have been better
Streaming numbers off the head and the Fox numbers.
better than most of their live events, which is unbelievable. I mean, you've been a fan of it because Brody has, who's your,
Yep.
you know,
Oh,
your protege, has been
I
involved
knew
in
a bit
setting the
about
cars
it
up.
because just hanging around those young guys, Brody and Anton and Nash and Brock Feeney, and they're always racing at night. And like I'll be trying to sleep at night, and I'll hear Nash on the computer at 1 o'clock in the morning, running off the track, mate, and whacking on. So I was sort of, but I knew it'd be good.
Yeah.
But to me, the thing that made it really good was Supercars TV.
Yeah. You got to give it to it, and
From the first one, I thought that was good. The second one was good. Then
just keeps getting better. Yeah.
last week or Wednesdays was unbelievable.
Well,
TV, just good TV. And Neil Crompton's call.
Yeah.
When you get him just calling a good motor race, he's the best.
He's actually
It was unbelievable.
He's actually all right solo. He goes all right. He
Yeah.
does-
So
actually, him and
they just need a
him
little.
and Matt White aren't too bad together.
Yeah,
'cause
they need an expert in there about e-racing. If you can get that guy,
that's what they need. Exactly right.
Yeah, an expert on the panel on the e-racing. But
Yeah.
that last lap between Scotty
Yeah,
and Brody and Shane, that was one of the best motor races I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's good. You actually start forgetting a little bit that it's
I'd forgotten.
computer game,
I was off
you know,
the couch
so-
cheering and
yeah.
carrying on, and thought it was a thing. Till the penalty came, then I was pissed off.
Yeah. You would have been on that. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Oh, mate, I'm always for.
I know what you're going to say.
Well, this is how I looked at that, right?
Yeah. I know you would have done that.
Hey?
You can see you're Brody's mentor.
No, this is how I looked at it. Like Scott was fading.
Yeah.
Like brilliant job at blocking and not blocking
Excellent.
for 2 or 3 laps. Brody
yeah.
attacking, and then it's come down to the last corner at Bathurst. He's locked up and ran wide a bit, and Brody's given him one on the way through. And the two drivers didn't have a problem with it after the race.
Yeah.
They were cool with it.
Yeah.
But then somehow supercars have got to get involved and give someone a penalty that should be. I would have loved to see Beardo go, boys, have you got a problem with that? Because I haven't. So if one of you wants to put a protest in, I'll talk to you about it. Otherwise, go and have a beer.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that.
See, that's the thing I find with this series is okay. I can see the reason behind it and getting publicity, which they have. I mean, networks are
It's
showing
created controversy, the penalty, because if you look at the comments, we've probably got another 20,000 views out of it.
Absolutely, but it's also a platform to try different types of formats, and also things like that. Well, you know what? Let's let it go and see what the public response is. Because if we do it live, you'll get strung up. Let's do it here and let's just leave that incident and do nothing and see the feedback.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity not only for the racing, but the judicial system
And officials.
and
Because I say that
how
all
they
the
judge
time.
it. Yeah.
Our championship's about engineers and officials. The drivers are they're down there.
Yep.
Like,
Totally
if you
agree.
give an official a job, he's got to do it.
Yep. Use this platform as a testing platform.
Yeah,
I
which
think.
they're doing, and Sean Seamer's come out this afternoon and said they're doing it for the formats and that. But yeah, for the process.
Craig Baird, he still gets, considering this is a game, yes, people are taking it serious, but you've got to take it for what it is. And he's still getting smashed up.
Oh, he loves it,
Have you
doesn't he?
seen it? But he's getting back at Beardo. Back off, mate. So, like, take it easy, because Beardo's on there. Well, what do you want me to do? You know, like,
You do the
reply
same, mate.
back. Hey?
He takes his job seriously and does a good job.
He does, but take it for what it is. Though. I mean, you know, the punters will smash everyone up. You know, you get a few keyboard warriors and all the rest of it. You know, but the good thing about it is that all the drivers, no matter what, have got a lot of respect for Craig Baird. They know he does a good job.
And if you don't agree with him, you can have a talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And get a reason why.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time, you'll go, yep, I can understand why he made that decision.
But we have said it, I don't know how many times we've said it over the years, let alone last year, on previous shows, is that you're right, get the parties involved, take them out the back of the pits, and they'll probably sort it out they'll go, yep, okay, that was fair, we'll sort it out. You don't need to step in half these
Only
incidents.
step in if the two drivers have got a problem.
If they're kicking
not the team owner, not the engineer, not the da-da-da.
Yep.
The two guys in that incident knew exactly what happened.
Yep.
Brody and Scotty know exactly what happened, and they were cool with it. So why get involved?
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
But a great platform to try different things. The different formats is good. I actually like the shorter races. It's like going Back to the Future. You know, have 2, 3.
What about
Sure.
what about some of the guys struggling with it?
Yeah, I've been a
What's your
bit
theory on
surprised.
that?
Well, what surprised me is some of the overseas drivers. I mean, a brilliant PR move getting Verstappen involved.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Like because all of a sudden you get an overseas contingent tuning in.
And he's on the pace.
Yeah, and he's on the pace. He surprised me. I thought he'd struggle. He was on the pace. So I mean, having Will Power as well. You know, jumping straight in. I mean, it's a good draw card.
I was excited
it's really
to see
good.
Will Power.
Yeah, and he did a
Yeah.
good job. You know,
Hell of a job.
He did a good job. But you're right. You know, is Jamie Whincup in it? I don't know. I thought he'd be really good. You know, because his style, he's so smooth, and you see the good guys driving when they're showing a very smooth style. No, I thought he'd be right on it. But there's obviously a technique.
I reckon it's, if you look at the guys that are pretty good at driving whatever they drive,
Yep.
they're going all right in the E Series.
Yeah. Okay.
That are a bit versatile. They're like, oh, I can work out how to.
Okay.
I can,
That's a fair deal. And you look at right. When you look at the guys that are up there, Van Gisbergen,
Drive anything.
you won't get a more versatile driver than Shane Van Gisbergen.
yeah,
Scott McLaughlin's proved that
he can drive anything.
he went from a supercar to an
the
IndyCar
IndyCar.
on the pace. You don't get more diverse than
Yeah,
that.
we've seen Anton first time in a GT car, bang.
Yep.
Supercar. Brady, we know he's NASCAR and
Brady's
dirt background and USAC midgets, pavement USAC midgets,
Yeah.
late models, supercars.
I rate Brady, dude. I know you do.
Yeah, no, he.
You're probably asking you's probably biased, even
Yeah.
though
Well,
I really
yeah.
respect your opinion
Yep.
because you can pick a good driver out of a dud. But I mean, I'm a hard person to impress. He's a good steerer, and he's got
Good attitude
He's
too,
got
isn't he?
mongrel.
Yeah.
We like mongrel.
Yeah, you would have
know?
given Scotty one for the last corner of Bathurst.
Last
wouldn't you?
corner of Bathurst, if that was the race, send him. Send him, dude. Like, just send him. You know, absolutely you would. So I like him because he's got dog in him, you know. So
that's good.
Yeah, he's good value. But
But
yeah,
that's my feeling. The versatile guys that can adapt.
Yeah,
can
yeah.
adapt.
And I'll tell you what, it shows you an organisation that's done a really good job. Have you seen the ARG one?
Yeah,
Yeah, no good.
Yeah.
In my opinion, in my personal opinion,
doing them damage.
no good. I think it proves that if you're going to do something, do it properly or don't do it at all. You know, I mean, you can see supercars have spent a lot of time.
That's you, but that's why this show's so. People go,
Oh,
"Gee,
yeah.
that's a good show." So if you want to see the work Russ puts into this, there's days and days of work.
Paul goes, oh look, just grab an iPhone and we'll just do it out in the backyard. You know, I go, no, let's go, because I'm anal with this sort of stuff, and
No,
yeah,
so-
considering we've got no budget to do this sort of stuff, and we go, but if you're going to do it, try and do it properly. You know, at the end of the day.
No, that's- you've always said that.
you get, so you got to be a bit careful with that, and I think that between the two. Hey, tell me one thing. I'm going to jump off the E-Series thing at the
Yeah.
moment. We've pumped their tyres up enough and it's killing me. It's killing me. Let's go to
Would you do
the
it?
television rights.
If there was an invitational legends race or something?
I
would
used
you-
to, mate, I was the first one on the simulators with the hype. You've got
Yeah,
one here.
you've got one here.
The Hyper Simulator. She looks like she's had more
Do you
hits.
reckon they'll give us a wild card? or
She's had
something?
more hits than Elvis,
When
this
will you
thing,
get-
mate. So,
I know.
but yeah, I was in the simulators when I was back with Larry.
So
I
you
spent-
drive. If we can
spent
get you a
days
start,
on it.
you're in.
Yeah, but I haven't got anything.
No, just answer the question.
I'd give it a run.
Okay,
As
righto.
long as I get a bit of testing. But I'd have a Rick Kelly sort of outfit, you know, made a bit of 4x2. I reckon
You'd
that'd
ring
probably
up
be
some
me.
simulator manufacturer and get a deal on one.
Yeah, I would. I'd have the most Hollywood one I could find, mate, and the speediest computer to give me any advantage I could get. Hey, tell me something, and it's something we didn't get to towards
sorry, mate.
last year, and I should have. With talking about ARG, because I had a little bit to do with them last year. What's the deal with the TV? With that, it's one thing I couldn't get my head around, that ARG have done a deal with Supercars Media to televise. Well, supposedly this year, which
To do
didn't
the
happen.
production.
To do the production,
Production,
to
yeah.
do the production of it. I found that quite bizarre, in respect that, you know, being seen as a
Well, there's definitely
been
some
seen-
blocking moves, wasn't
yeah, there was initially
Yeah.
an opposition category that all of a sudden they've got a really good, I don't know about monetary wise, but they got a free to air deal. That's a good start. on 7/8, and they're now going to give them a very polished production, which is going to obviously elevate all that, and on a free-to-air network. Is that shooting yourself in the foot a bit?
Well, you'd think so, but obviously they need took the money, mate. I suppose.
Oh, obviously there's money, yeah. So it's a pure money. Yeah, does the money equate to that it could be, or supercars are that dangerous that they won't be a threat because it's so different?
I don't know. Well, they've definitely blocked them from being on same events and competing with them on equal terms, but happy to take their money and do their TV production. So yeah, it's a good question. We probably need to ask it.
Got a question just come through.
Yeah.
John Gitcham, love the idea of you two being wild cards in the E-Series.
Oh, okay.
Would you do it? You've asked me. Would you ever swing?
Oh, I don't think I'd do the whole. I reckon I'll be back, still coming. I'll still be trying to finish. But if they did some celebrity type Legends race or something, we'd give it a go.
You would?
Yeah. I don't think I could.
Well, that's Jan Magnussen.
Yeah.
I've seen him and Jenson Button
Oh,
have
they
been
did,
doing
yeah,
a
yeah.
legend, look at Formula 5000.
Yeah, looks like a McLaren or something.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah, and they're real out of control. I actually watched one of their races, and it was actually really good. And those two had a fantastic battle. I think it was at Zandvoort, the last round. Really good, and they're really getting into it. So, you're right, something like a TCR version of.
Oh no, TCR, okay.
No, sorry, TCM. TCM.
Whatever
Masters,
cars we're going to drive. No,
yeah.
you can just drive the normal cars, but just get all the old guys in them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe that's an old stages.
Yeah,
E-Series.
Legends race.
Legends race.
E-Series Legends race.
Yeah, can we be
Yeah.
classed as legends?
I think you can, mate. Two Bathurst wins an Australian Touring Cars Championship, so that makes you one.
Oh yeah, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, got a few between us. Hey mate, I reckon we've covered a fair bit already. We're going all right. Look, I want to make sure this doesn't turn into a 5-hour extravaganza.
Yeah, okay. How long have we been going?
No, we can go for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've been doing all right.
Did you do a time check on your watch?
No. Geez, we're 45 already, I think. Far out. So anyway, we're going to call the pace car. Pace car is going to come out. We got some vision for you from Enforcer and the Dude Drive Day. We had a couple of them here. They were absolutely a blast.
Good days.
Everyone had an absolute ball around here, around Norwell. It was a really great day. We might have a few more this year as well, as soon as we can. Norwell gets up and running. Yeah, as soon as we can get some people here. So we're going to watch this vision. We're going to be back in about 5 minutes with our very special guest, Skyping in live as well. Yeah. I mean, he's got some interesting stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 5. Cheers, guys.
Can't speak Manuel. Yeah, go, go.
Oh, hello. Francis, are you there?
Beautiful.
G'day, you out there, y'all? I've got my real estate and we're here.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Enforcer and the Dude live. Now we've got our very special guest on tonight, Skyping all the way from Winton Motor Raceway, the Winton Motor Raceway manager, Jeff Grech. Hey Jeff, how you going?
G'day, mate.
How's life up in
How are you, mate?
how's life up in Winton, mate?
Yeah, good. I love it up here. Yeah, we've become Winton country bumpkins.
Sure, you're right. I'll tell you what, when I spoke to you earlier in the week, I said, how much love are you feeling at the moment from the motorsport community and certain organisations, considering you were lepers not that long ago? Now everyone wants you back as a track.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, Russell, as you know. Like, unfortunately, the world's had a bit of a collapse, and with an unfortunate disease, and all sorts of things are happening. And I listened to you guys before on the show, and we're all going to take a big reset, to be real. It's a bit like it's a bit like going back to a world war and all that sort of stuff. And I think as a community, and especially the motorsport community, we've got to look after each other and have a reset, a dead set reset.
Yeah, look, I think, I know, we were speaking earlier on how motorsport is going to look coming out of the end of this thing, when it finally does. And look, we both have spoken off camera about that street circuits are going to be hard work for the near future. And at the end of the day, if you're going to go racing again, permanent circuits, especially with limited number personnel and with or without live fans there, they're going to be, like I said, you're going to find a lot of love at the moment.
Oh, absolutely, Russell. I mean, actually, our CEO of the Benalla Auto Club, Chris, brought up a good analogy the other night about the like of Darwin versus Townsville. Townsville's a street race. It's there for a week, and with Darwin, we love going to Darwin, and we also love going in the day to Townsville, but places like that probably need a permanent circuit to encourage people to keep going back or keep motorsport in their mind all year round. And I think that's, that is a big thing for us and our economy. The governments have had a big spend, and thankfully, in the right places with Job Seeker and Job Keeper, and I think it's a great thing. But in the next lot of years, we're going to have to really, all companies, doesn't matter what, whether you're a sport or a business, you're going to have to batten down the hatches and as you said earlier, both you two, go back to the future.
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy, Jeff. Like Darwin is a really good model, isn't it? It's close to town, the track's not out and whoop whoop, it's easy to get to, and it leaves something fantastic for the community all year round, whether that be cycling or running, and the local motorsport community is there to be had. So yeah, definitely a perfect model. But I think you guys are really in the box seat, because if I'm Supercars, I want to go to a track where race control can see the whole track, and I can put it on an event and control it very easily with limited amounts of officials. And I reckon you guys are in the box seat. I reckon Queensland Raceway is in the box seat with that type of layout. So if you could talk about it, I reckon you guys are in a position where you could, come up with a plan. You probably guys already have how we would run a race meeting going forward in limited numbers.
Yeah, well, Paul, the Banana Auto Club have been very good in preserving our heritage, but also moving with the time. So
yeah.
So our CEO Chris and the club, they've invested in the Allen Track system, and we're looking, at further improvements. But certainly, we've spoken to.
So the alley track is the lot. Instead of having flag marshals, you've got lights.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So basically, we can run it with minimal flag marshals.
Yes.
And the second part to that is, we can keep our numbers down. So obviously, we've been speaking to Supercars. We're still at the moment designated as a restart to the Supercar series.
Yeah.
And we'll do everything we can to help that series to do that. Whether it's relaxed to go to 500 or whatever happens, but because we're a 360 acre site, we can really spread out our people and supercars and whatever, and crack on. And even if we have to do 2 events, I mean, we're just going to remain flexible for motorsport. Whatever we can do, we'll do, because as you two know, and myself, we've grown up together through Australian motorsport, and it's our passion. We've got to keep it alive. It will take a couple of backward steps, and probably Supercars, as you mentioned before, they're going to have a rejig, because if you go back to Group A, and you guys were probably in nappies when I was still working.
I was in Group A, mate.
But go back to Group A. It was technology plus manufacturers were trying to out-homologate other manufacturers, and I was fortunate enough, and I loved doing it. I worked on a GTR Nissan, and I can tell you, as a young bloke, that was a great thing. We won everything. It just smashed the industry, unfortunately. And then, to his credit, Mike Raymond come back in and said, let's do a reset and go back to V8s and wind back with the Ford and Holden, meat pie, kangaroos and Holden and Fords.
Yeah.
And didn't it take off? It was a clear reminder of where we, at the end of '92, that our Australian fans had enough, and we rebooted back and actually reignited the series. So going forward to where we are now, and I'm just sitting in the background like you guys. We've gone through it all, and I love technology and all that stuff. But we've got to the stage now. When I left Supercars at the end of '99, when I was with Tasman Motorsport, and I went up to the mining industry for a few years. And at that stage, at the end of '99, you could operate in the top 10, if not the top 5, per car for about $1.2 million for the season, which was still a spend, but there was still some basics. We still had some engineering, a bit of mix of everything, but it was mainly run by the team owners and the team managers. I come back to with Charlie Schwerkolt in start of 2016, and everyone said, "Hey mate, what's the biggest difference from when you left in the end of 2009 to 2016?" I said about $1.3 million. So we went from operating and easily be able to be in the top 10, if not the top 5 if you jagged a good strategy, to 1.2 million. And come back and just to be in the top 20, you spent $2.5 million. I mean, how does that happen? And look, I don't want to get into the techniques of it, you know, whether we allowed this or we allowed that, but boys, you know, the racing was still good back in the early days. Russell, we knew my drivers were banging heads and all that sort of stuff. But we need, you know, I hope that supercars and the owners do get back, because they just can't sustain this. And you know, I'm a motorsport fanatic, so I'd love to see it sustain itself, but it certainly can't. I mean, you look at all categories. Formula One are talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. It's a no-brainer. When governments are spending millions of dollars keeping us all employed and the country's afloat, but it's about time that all sports, including motorsport, have a think about how we can entertain people, keep our fans on board, and not spend the money we're spending.
Mate, very well spoken. We are on your train 110%, absolutely, and it's something we've been talking about for a long time, not since we've been doing this show as well. And you're right, I mean, maybe this is the reset that needed. It's terrible circumstances to do it, obviously, but this is a reset that motorsport are put the shove that it needs, because to survive, long term, you're gonna have to look at this. There's no doubt about it. And that was actually, you answered the question I had for you, is with the difference you found between back then and now, and you're probably one of the very few that's experienced both ends of the scale with a gap in the middle, which is probably what you need. But you're right with the racing. Over this period, everyone's had plenty of time on their hands. I've been jumping back onto online and YouTube and looking at old races. And when you go back to those races, Jeff, back some of the others, everyone thinks the racing is good now. Go back and have a look at some of those early races. They were killer. It was on. Like, there were such good races, and a Calder and all those great places, you know. There was some unbelievable. You look at the Calder night race, man, that was good, you know. And you're right, you're an absolute pain in the backside, Jeff, because you probably cost me a couple of championships because you're too bloody good on your job. So you and your bloody drivers.
You should have come and drove for us.
I know, but Larry was such a nice bloke, I didn't want to leave.
I've got to tell you, my education in motor racing come from LP, and I love him to death.
Same.
I still, when I can, but do you know when the crash happened in '87 and '88, and like, it's not like now, but it was a financial crash.
Yep.
You know, we'd arrived there. We'd arrived down at Roberta Street at 7 o'clock. I used to have breakfast there, and we spent an hour working on our race car, and then 8 hours working on road cars, and then if we were lucky at the end of the day, we got another hour on the race car, because LP was the king of. It's got to make it happen. We've got to survive, and mate, that stuck with me, and I'm blessed to work with the guy, because he actually brought home reality. You know, I mean, I remember at the furniture, we had a furniture joint at the back of Burners Street, and we used to go out there and get the nails and straighten them and get the old bits of timber to make shelving. You know, that's how it was. And believe it or not, mate, it's done a 180 degree. That's where all supercar teams should be at the moment. They should be going right. And I think you said before, like there's 24 cars, and I'd hate to see anyone lose their job. But if we bring it back to a cost point and able to go racing, and I say this dear to my heart, probably go back to free to wear like we are now. Everyone can jump on and watch us banging on. It means that more cars will come in, whether it's even bringing like the old days where we had tier 1 and tier 2. So I'm talking about the Super 2 to be able to run in our category, and everyone will get a job because there'll be more cars there. And
Absolutely.
it'll be entertainment. You know, there'll be slower drivers, and the good drivers always get around it. You know, there might be a few whoops, but that's how it's got to be, I reckon.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Doesn't it make you listen to someone like Jeff, dude, and it makes sense. These are the sort of people that should be on some sort of commission, right?
Yeah.
Him, Jeff, Larry, guys that have been there, done that, with a mixture of modern as well, like people currently in the game. And I tell you what, between the lot of you, probably sort out a lot of the issues straight up, because it's just a lot of it's common sense.
But this is going to surprise you. I had a conversation with Roland Dane today, and it was basically the words that just come out of Jeff's mouth.
Well, there you go.
So I think everyone's on the same page. So
Yeah, but they maybe should have been on this page a lot earlier.
well, you're just forced to do something now. I think, Jeff, aren't you? But I think you're going to find some common ground.
Yeah, no, and look, don't let me. I'll remind you. I don't want to leave Winton. I love the place. I love. I'm a country bumpkin. The committee have warned me, the whole bit. But look, whether you're a track or a team or whatever, it's all about our motorsport and our heritage and our history. And we all know it goes in cycles. I think. I don't want to dumb it down, and again, I listen to you two guys about the aero. Let's not bullshit each other. Within a matter of 2 years, it did go 30%. I mean, I saw the shit that went on, and we're not keeping on in control of it.
Yeah.
And mate, you don't have to. You go back to the late 90s, early 2000s, it still had aero, and you listen to the drivers whinge, but you just put that aside. But it was still good racing. And
Absolutely.
It's not hard. I mean, again, it's not remaking anything. I mean, it's just more gurney off and more under tray off. The same under tray's been there for 30 years, or 20 years. So it's not a remake. It's just been practical, and you'll always get the great drivers, the Gizzies, the Win-Cups, Lounsey, you, Russell.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, remember, Jeff, when they took 150 mil, when they took 150 mil off the front splitter, was that the VS Commodore?
Yeah.
The VS, because I remember we went out at Calder and we couldn't get through the S out the back flat. It was unbelievable. But 150 mil, they're going, right, they took a swing at it.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
But mate, the teams, and I'm not taking anything away from the teams. The DJR Penske, the Triple Eights, all those guys, they do a ripper job, and especially the drivers. But just mix. If we bring it back, it just means you're not going to take it away. You're not going to take it away from the good drivers. It's just going to give everyone a bit of an opportunity. But you're right with the personnel. Back in 2000, I was HRT, and John Crennan gave me a good checkbook. But he was I still had to meet budget, and we went away with probably 15 blokes for 2 cars.
Yep.
And now, it's 10 blokes a car. I mean, you just go, wow, how did that happen in 15, 20 years? 15 years. That's just, it's got to be. It's a big handbrake, and I don't want to make misery out of what's happening in the world today, because passionately, hopefully we all we all get to the other side. But when we get to the other side, by shit, we've got to have some clever thinking.
Yep.
Otherwise, mate, we'll go further back than fullback.
Yep, couldn't agree more. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you, Jeff. Good luck with it all. We certainly hope that out of all this, Winton and other tracks like Ipswich and all the rest of it, other beneficiaries, and hopefully a bit of government funding will start coming your way and start
Central service.
Yeah, absolutely, central service, and not only for motorsport, but the motor industry and road safety and everything else that comes with it. You know, we need permanent circuits.
Yeah, mate, we've become very diversive here. You know, we have got cycling events. We've got road. We've got driver training. So I think it's, again, we're looking. You know, the Benalla Auto Club have been very good. We're looking at our whole facility, and these times we're certainly acting like we need to rejig ourselves slightly. We're not a big circuit, but we're a well-oiled circuit, which is great. We've got a great staff and a great committee. So, and hopefully there's more of us up here around the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, mate. Congratulations with all your efforts down there at Winton, and we'll be seeing you during the year for sure. So, good on you, buddy. It's good the ADSL dial-up connection's working well too, mate.
Yeah, and mate, I would have had you as the driver, but you just didn't ask.
Didn't you? I thought you thought I was a prick, so that's why I got it all wrong.
Well, I did have Paul drove for us.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's true. I was probably the only one that didn't.
Yeah.
Geez, you had nice looking team gear too.
Yeah.
All right, cheers, buddy.
See you, mate.
Right.
See you, buddy.
Right, mate, look after yourselves.
You too.
Cheers.
See you, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we go.
Pretty good, eh?
Jeff Craig. It's good, eh?
And have you been to Winton lately since he's been in charge?
No, I haven't.
Mate, that is you can see his influence on the place just everywhere. The weeds are gone, the paint's thing. He's just got that race team mentality where you get people out of race teams into normal operations, and they just seem to work a lot harder than everyone else.
I just like talking to those sort of guys, Paul. It's like talking to LP. You know, they just roll stuff out, and it's the memory bank and experiences. And you can't make up for that. You can't make up for it. And he's been there and done that. He's been to the very best teams, this categories that this Australia's ever produced, and he's been in amongst it. And you take all that, it's just so interesting. And like I said, to me, those guys should have input into motorsport, and especially in the supercars. Is my personal opinion.
Like his analogy, John gave him a pretty good budget, but they ran efficiently. You know, 15 guys away. Sure. And they were the top team then, weren't they?
Really interesting chat, and Jeff loves Winton. He loves being up there. He likes the area, and he's very passionate about motorsport. So you couldn't have a better person running Winton up there, or managing Winton. Hey, a few more questions. We've got time for a few more questions. This has turned into an hour and a half extravaganza.
We're on an hour and a half.
I don't know. It's been going for ages, mate. What are your thoughts on turning the Supercar series into a summer series? Tim Watson has a question on fire, and getting away from AFL. Geez, I tell you what, that's the way it's going to end up.
Well, it could end up that way by default if we get going again. It will become a summer series, and it'll be what'll happen, really.
Yeah.
You know, ideally, when are we going to start up? September, maybe October, run through till now.
Yep. So by what's happened, it might be a good time to test it.
Yep.
I mean, there was talk of it early, so
and then we'll know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin McKenzie, Super 2 Bathurst. Should Super 2 join the supercars grid at the Bathurst 1000?
Yeah,
it used to be mixed. It used to be mixed of all sorts of makes and models.
One what you brung, and
no, I don't reckon it's a bad idea.
No, it gets more cars on the grid.
Yeah, it gets more cars.
Yeah, it fills the grid up, and there's some good Super 2 cars. So, the only downside to that would be you'd have to make it a non-championship race for Super 2,
right.
Because some of the drivers in that championship are going to be
in
co-driving.
Yep.
But the teams that have no problem finding drivers for those cars because everyone can find a budget to go and run a Bathurst. So yeah, bring it on.
Maybe gives an opportunity to some other drivers that haven't got a co-drive, that are currently in Super 2, or other drivers from other categories to jump in there
Yeah, well,
and get Bathurst experience.
Well, I've got a car sitting there, a Super 2 car that hasn't turned a wheel for a year, but if I could go take it to Bathurst, I'd find a way to get it there.
Yeah, if you got someone
Yeah.
come along with some sponsorship, a couple of young punters,
you'll
go
get
there. Do you want to do it? I'll do it if you could run a Super 2 car.
Yeah.
That'd be a laugh.
Win Class B,
That'd be a laugh.
Class B champions.
Oh, the way a lot of the drivers throw Bathurst away, we might not get on
What,
the
top
podium.
10?
Yeah, might get on the podium,
I
mate.
think I got 11th there in a Toyota Corolla once.
Did you?
So just by chugging around all day.
Can you race Bathurst without the fans? There's another question that's just come in.
Oh, look, anything's possible. You definitely can race it without the fans.
Jeez,
would it commercially be viable? Like, it's a big gate.
Wouldn't have the same atmosphere,
No,
though,
it
mate.
wouldn't, but you
Jesus,
could.
it'd be hard
You
work.
definitely could. Would you want to? I don't think so.
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. Mate, I reckon we're done. This has been it's been really good. Good questions that come in. Like I said, this is a little bit of a test on, we might go out on the road a little bit and do it from different locations, and this is a bit of a test about doing it live.
Check the technology out. See what it
Yeah,
works.
yes, and a big thank you to our crew as well. It's been our loyal crew that's been with us through all last year. They've come on board and come up with this idea to do this, so they've put it all together. So fantastic, big thanks to Pete and Cody for doing that for us. And of course, Sudal have come on board. They were one of our sponsors last year, so they threw us a couple of bucks to get us back on the road.
Get us cranking
Yeah, and of course our regulars, Castrol
Yeah. Norwell
and
Motorplex.
Ozdeck, Norwell Motorplex, of
Our
course.
fans.
Yeah.
We should say shout out to the Kiwis too. Anzac Day tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We've
Good
got
on.
some fans over
We've
there.
got a lot
We-
of fans on the Kiwis.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we
They're a
can.
bit more locked down than the rest of the world. Over
Yeah,
here.
but they've done a fantastic job through this whole pandemic. I mean, Australians should be absolutely congratulated for the way they've handled this pandemic and terrible circumstances. A lot of people losing jobs and businesses, doing it really tough. But New Zealand has done a fantastic job as well, and hopefully those borders can be opened and
Well,
at least we get a bit of interaction.
We all
Yeah.
sort of come out the same end, and we can open up the borders
for sure.
between us and the Kiwis. That'd be a fantastic result,
For
wouldn't it?
sure, absolutely. Got a lot of Kiwi fans for the show as well. So great, thanks, dude.
Good on
Thanks
you,
for
Russ.
that.
Can we? Oh shit!
Oh
hang on.
no, we can't do that. Yeah, Jesus, that was close. We'll get crucified for that. We can't do that anymore. So, thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been great. Give us your feedback, what you think of the live show. Obviously, we can't do any on-track antics as well because we just can't, nor it's closed at the moment. So we're limited to this, but we thought this was a good fill-in anyway. Give us your thoughts on it. Hope you'll like it. It's going to be on your Facebook, so you can view it later, and we're also going to be putting it on YouTube and Forster and the Dude as well. So, from myself and Paul, thank you very much,
Right,
and
right.
hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.